I'm saying this because there has been a process, and particularly against Jacob Zuma, a conspiracy. I'm sitting there and I'm told by other organizations that in my organization, as well as in the NEC, there are people who are working for them, whom they want to be in control of this country. It was a worrying point. Leaving aside the information I had, there would have been information I did not have, and perhaps important to try to follow this very closely. Of course, the conference came. In that conference, I was elected Deputy Secretary General of the ANC. And of course, Tambo moved out, and Tata Madiba came in as the president. There were two decisions taken by the organization that President Mandela and Thomas Nkobi, who was the Treasurer General, after the conference, they will go to the United States to raise funds. Another decision that Thabo Mbeki and Jacob Zuma, shortly after conference, they will go to attend a conference in UK, which was discussing constitutional matters. And indeed, after all of that, when the NEC has been elected by conference, then the NEC elects the working committee, which runs the matters in between NEC meetings. So we left to our tasks. One day, as we finished the conference when going for supper, I rushed to my room to listen to the BBC Focus on Africa. We were a little bit addicted to it because out there we didn't listen to all the medias from home. Among the reports that were given by the BBC was the report of the meeting of the working committee of the ANC, which had met for the first time. And there were two decisions among many that were taken. One was that Thabo Mbeki was removed as the chief negotiator of the ANC, and Jacob Zuma has been removed as the chief of intelligence. When I was going down, I met Comrade Thabo. I said, man, there are decisions that have taken. We are no longer leading us on the negotiations. And he was shocked. But I said, no, that's not the only one. I've also been removed as the chief of intelligence. He was even more shocked, knowing how the ANC deal with things, particularly that you cannot take such a decision when the president of the organization is not there. Why? But to me, and I said to him, you did not know me. I knew that I was going to be removed, but I did not know how. The question that I was asking myself, I received information from intelligence sources that after the conference, I would be not the chief of intelligence. This is supposed to have been planned by these three organizations. Why is it implemented by my national working committee? What does this mean? It therefore is confirming that there may be spies here, because it means there were people when these intelligence organizations took the decision that they directed that they must make this to happen. Of course, thereafter, we wept, and we did not even at that time take this matter as a general report in the ANC. We kept it as an intelligence issue. But it's important to say this because the character assassination that I have faced over the years, more than 20 years, this is one of the clear sources that I know. There was a plan to deal with Zuma, and Zuma has been dealt with all the time. In other words, foreign intelligence organizations and local one, of course under apartheid, for a variety of reasons, thought it was important to deal with this man. Now it is important for me to state that anything that happened since that time, I've been linking the dots all the time. And I thought it is important to this commission, part of the reason as I would come to, that the matter of this commission is not different from or the plan, not the commissioners here, those who initiated that there must be a commission. You recall that when I was not at the national level, I was in the province, suddenly I had to be charged. Before being charged, I was removed as a deputy president of the country, 2005, because I was implicated in the arms deal. Bear in mind that I was not in the national, I was not part of the processes, I was in the province. And it did not make sense to me. Of all the people who dealt with the arms deal, not a single one was ever, or there were ever allegations against. But there were allegations against me. I had to be investigated in a very strange way, even that investigation. I had them being investigated by the Scorpions. At a given time, the head of NPA and the minister had a press conference wherein it was announced, yes, there is in our investigation, there is a prima facie case against Zuma, but it's unwinnable in court. So that's why we're not charging him. Now, there are investigations and investigations. I've never had that kind of level of investigation being reported in the media. Why it was reported in the media for me? There are so many cases. Clearly, that indicated the beginning of the implementation of this particular plan and the conspiracy.